I decided to do it on the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Basically, this movie focuses on Quasimodo. Um, he was born of a gypsy mother who was killed and taken into the care of Frollo. Um, he lives his life in confinement at the top of a bell tower until the day he sneaks out to go to a festival of fools where he is crowned as the king of fools and humiliated until a woman named Esmeralda intervenes and defends him. Because of her intervention, she is then wanting to be arrested. Um, Quasimodo provides Esmeralda with hospitality in the church, and he begins to develop feelings for her. Um, he helps her escape, and this is when Frollo, Quasimodo's adoptive father, demands a citywide search for Esmeralda. Um, this is also when Captain Phoebus, someone who also has feelings for Esmeralda, defies Frollo and is executed, but not really because Esmeralda cures him. All the gypsies in this film kind of have a safe haven called the Court of Miracles where they hide. Um, and this place is then found out by Frollo when Quasimodo and the Captain Phoebus go to warn the group. Um, Quasimodo and Frollo do fight at the end of the film. Frollo does end up falling off the side of Notre Dame and dying. And the captain and Esmeralda both their relationship comes to light basically, and they receive the blessing from Quasimodo despite his feelings for her. And the city finally sees Quasimodo as a hero at the end. The portrayal of disability: Quasimodo has an orthopedic impairment. It is a congenital anomaly, meaning that it happened at birth. And there are three categories. The first category seems most to connect to what Quasimodo has. There is a loss of proper alignment of the spine, as we can see with the hunch in his back, as well as possible visual impairments. It isn't explicit, but many articles have assumed that he does just because of the deformity of his eye. There's also degenerative diseases and musculoskeletal disorders. And with this specific disability, there's also many reactions of abandonment and extermination. As we see at the beginning of the film, Frollo finds that Quasimodo has a disability and decides that death is the only humane solution. He calls him an unholy demon and believes that dropping him in the well is sending him back to where he belongs. Eventually, like many others with disabilities, he is placed in the care of someone else. In this case, it is Frollo, the man who wanted to kill him. He is also living in confinement at the top of the bell tower. And this film also encourages not this film, but the characters in this film are using offensive and disability first language regarding Quasimodo, specifically the word hunchback. And his name also just is putting the disability first. He's seen as someone that is partial and limited. His name literally means half-formed. And at the end, there is rehabilitation. Quasimodo is finally accepted in society and is seen as a hero. The effect on individuals: this movie affects more so children just because of Disney's audience. And I guess one of the biggest effects that I took away from this is the character with the disability still didn't get the girl. There wasn't really poetic justice with this. Despite Quasimodo's feelings and everything he had with Esmeralda, he still gives his blessing to Phoebus and Esmeralda's relationship just because he believes he can't have her. And I took two things away from this film. Just being conscious of offensive vocabulary. This film is called The Hunchback of Notre Dame, something that is obviously very offensive to those with disability. And it also uses a term, gypsy, which is extremely offensive. So just being conscious of offensive vocabulary constantly. There are things that we say now that may be offensive in 10 years, and I would need to be aware of that and do my research and make sure I understand the history, as well as the fact that children should be exposed to darker themes, just because this is life, and if they aren't exposed to it in the classroom where it is safe and accurate, where they're being provided with safe and accurate information, I just feel like that's the best place to start. This movie does touch on topics such as infanticide, persecution, ableism, and I feel if Disney can do it in this film, we should be able to do it in our classrooms and make our education more inclusive to those with disabilities and provide more information for those who do not have disabilities to be more conscious of offensive vocabulary. And yeah. Oh, sorry. And here is my works cited page.